Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next update for my project Level Up. This is a project that I created at the beginning of this year where it's kind of fusing a couple of projects together. I basically just wanted a way of hitting panel eyeshadows but still getting use out of the whole palette and just having a reason to rotate through my collection more. So I created this project where the goal is to hit pan on your eyeshadow palettes but also use every single shade in the palette. And the way it is Level Up is that you have 5 different layers, or you can choose to do more, but I'm gonna do complete 5 levels and then I'm gonna start over at level 1 again. And for each level you need to hit a certain amount of pans and use each shade a certain amount of time. So for example, right now I'm on level 4, which means that in my palette, which is currently the Subculture palette from Anastasia, I need to hit 4 pans and use every single shade at least 4 times, and that is how you complete each level. So that is basically the gist of the project. If you're doing this, let me know down below. I do have a playlist that I created last month with everyone else who is participating, and I also have some people linked down below, so make sure to check out everyone else who is doing this project. But without any further ado, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. But let's jump into the video. So I'm gonna put up here the picture of where I was last month with this palette. I already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pans in this palette. I actually only brought this about a year and a half ago, so it's very new to my collection still. I mean, it's not that new anymore, I guess, but it's still relatively new compared to some other palettes that I have. But yeah, that is where I was when I first rolled this in last month, and this is what my palette looks like now. So you can see that this is what it looks like, but let's just go through each and every shade in order. So the first shade in the palette is Cube, which is this light shade right here. I already had pan on this before, and I have used this twice so far in the month, so I'm halfway there with that goal. 2 more uses and I don't think there's going to be any issues at all. Then next to that we have the shade Dawn, which is this light transition shade right here. It might look like a setting shade in the palette, but it is a bit too deep for that for me, so it is more like a transition shade, and I have used this one 4 times, so I have hit my goal on that shadow. Next to that we have the shade Destiny, which I have not used at all, so let's just skip over that. And then next up we have Adorn, which is the only shimmer shade in the palette that I did not have pan on yet, and I have actually pan on it. This pan is super weird. You can see there that it looks like black, and I'm assuming that is the rust that is known to be in Anastasia palettes. I've never seen it that bad though before. I mean, I had pan on all of the other shimmers in here and all of them are fine. It's just this one, the pan is completely black, so I think the pan is rusting. And again, this palette isn't that old compared to like my Modern Renaissance. I understand that maybe why it did, because that palette I got in 2016, so that is what, 6 years ago now. So that palette is quite old, but this one, like I said, is relatively new, and I thought that by then when I bought this they would have fixed that issue, but clearly not. But yes, I did hit pan on this eyeshadow, and it took me 9 uses in total to hit pan on this. So we do have our first pan for level 4, so that's very exciting. The next 2 shades in the palette are All Star and Mercury, and I have used either of these 1 time each, so I have 3 more uses to go on those 2 shades. Then lastly, for the first row we have Axis, which is this beautiful kind of blue shade right there. It's like a tealy blue, and I have used this one twice, so I'm halfway through with that goal. Moving on to the second row, we have the shade Roxy right here. This one is one that I have been focusing on, and hopefully you can see that I have a little bit of a dip for me in this eyeshadow. I have used this 8 times in the past month, so I already have hit my goal on like usage, but I am gonna try to hit pan on this. This is one of the shadows that I do want to hit pan on, so I am gonna continue working on this, and that's also why I have 8 uses already, because after the 4 uses I did decide I want to focus on hitting pan on this eyeshadow. So yeah, that is the shade Roxy. Then next to that we have my favorite shadow in the palette, and that is Electric, this one down here. I've only used this one once. I'm kind of saving it a bit. Like I said, love this shadow. It's my favorite. It's very similar to my indie shadows. It's very sparkly, it has a bit of a shift to it, and yeah, it's just a stunning shade, so I won't have any issues at all reaching this initial 3 times in the past month. Again, I just have been saving it a bit. Then next up we have the shade Fudge, which is just like a warm tone brown right there. And this one I have used once, so I have 3 more uses to go. I was thinking maybe this will be one that I'm trying to hit pan on, but I think I'm gonna skip that because I have a lot of neutral kind of brown tones, or like just neutral shades in my Panda palette, and I'd rather kind of focus on the more colorful ones in here just so I can get a bit more variety. So next we have the shade New Wave, which is another one that I already have pan on. I mean, the only new pan I really have this month is Adorn. So this one I already have pan on, but I have used it one time in the past month. Then next up we have the shade Untamed, which is this green shade down here. I haven't used this one yet, so I do have 4 more uses to go on that one before I can or hit my goal on that. So yeah, definitely need to step up my game on this shade. It's just not the kind of shade that I want to reach for more in spring, summer, so we'll see how it goes. But I mean, 4 uses is doable in a month, so fingers crossed I can hit my goal on that in the upcoming month. Then we have the shade Edge, which is this mustard shade right here. I have used this one 4 times as well, so I have hit my goal on this. And you can see that there is a little bit of wear on this eyeshadow. I think this is going to be another one that I focus in on because I really like this kind of mustardy shade. So I think this is going to be another one that I try to hit pan on. And then lastly in the palette we have the shade Rowdy, which is this kind of purpley shade here. And I do have a little bit of wear on this one as well. I've been using this mainly as an eyeliner, and I do have 6 uses on this one too, so I have hit my goal on Rowdy. But again, I think that's going to be one that I try to hit pan on. So my game plan for the remaining pans is going to be to hit pan, as of now, is to hit pan on Roxy, Edge, and then Rowdy. So those 3 shades right here I do want to focus on and hit pan on, and hopefully I can at least hit pan on 1 or 2 more of those in the next month. But I do foresee that this palette will be in for 2 more months because yeah, these shades are very, very pigmented and it's taking a bit longer than I thought to hit pan on it. Also again, this palette is a bit newer, so it's not that really old subculture formula that's like really well known to be super crumbly. I would say that this is kind of on par with other Anastasia palettes that I have, that it is crumbly, but it's not like overly crumbly like some of the original videos that came out of the subculture palette when it first was released, because yeah, those were very, very extreme. But I think this one is more kind of regular Anastasia powderness, so these will still take a while, especially because they are so pigmented. So we'll see how it goes in the next month, but those are going to be my 3 focus shades to hit pan on. So just to recap as well with the palette, this is what it looks like now. I have hit my goal when it comes to usage on 5 out of the 14 shadows, so I have 9 more to go. So the ones that I have hit my goal on is Dawn right here, and then Adorn from the top row, so those 2 shadows. Then for the second row we have hit my goal on Roxy, yeah, that one is done. And then lastly we have Edge and Rowdy. So those are the 5 shadows that I've hit my goal on. I still have quite a way to go with this palette. I have been taking it slowly because this palette is very much awesome for me. It's not been the kind of shades that I've been wanting to reach for too much. I should be able to hit my usage goal on most of these eyeshadows by next month. I think that's going to be my goal, is to just get those 4 uses per eyeshadow out by next month. And then obviously just try to hit pan on everything, but if I can't do that for next month, then at least I have used every single shade the amount of times they need to be used. So again, that's going to be my goal, and then if I can hit pan on something, that would be amazing. I mean, I would ideally want to move this out in the next month because I want to rotate something else in, and I'm trying to get as much use out of all of my eyeshadows palettes this year as I can. So it would be really nice if I could roll this out by next month, but we just have to see how it goes because yeah, this palette is very, very pigmented. But maybe I can do it if I just really focus in on it. I think this month kind of got away from me. I didn't film for I didn't post a video for about 2.5 weeks in the past month, and with that I also wore kind of like quite boring makeup looks, and just like I was on more like autopilot when it came to my makeup, so I didn't quite like incorporate shades like this. But hopefully next month I can just make more efforts to reaching for this one, and maybe I can just put this as my main priority to use in the upcoming month. So that is where I am with my subculture palette and my project Level Up. I am excited that I'm getting dips in a lot of these shades. I can definitely see that I'm like now using all the shades. Obviously I have a few shades that I have not reached for yet, but overall they are getting a bit more used, and that's kind of what I want. I want all of the shades to look like I've used them rather than just have like pan in a couple. If I do this, you can probably see the dips a bit more there. So yeah, that is it for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you're doing this project and I do not have you listed down below or in my playlist, please do let me know so I can incorporate you into the playlist, as well as let everyone else know that you're doing this project, because it's been so much fun and I love that so many people have already wanted to join in. So yeah, that is it for today. I really hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.